to get it. Anyway, meantime, you will have to find that result out on the website. It will be there in just a few minutes as soon as the judges release it. Tom, we have some more semi-finals.
Yeah, race 314 on the course. First semi-final, the elite lightweight double sculls, Exeter University, Edinburgh University composite on the Berkshire Station and Wallingford Rowing Club. The first of two Wallingford Rowing Club boats representing their club in this event. The Garvey crew, they're coming down the course. There was a slight wobble there in the Wallingford crew on the Buckinghamshire Station. They caught a bit of a crab, but they seem to have recovered well, and I think it might even be Wallingford who, as they leave the shadows of Temple Island, are just sneaking their bows ahead, or maybe not. As we see the drone footage, it looks like the composite crew with Susanna Duncan and Maddie Arlett from Edinburgh and Exeter are just around a canvas up on their opponents from Wallingford. But yeah, if you do want to see the result of that phenomenal Club 8 semi-final that just came down the course, go to www.hwr.regattaresults.co.uk for the full roundup. But we're focusing here on the first semi-final, the elite lightweight double sculls. And Stan, I can see you eagerly clicking that rate watch. What are we looking at the moment?
Well, we're looking at 37 is the rate for the Exeter Edinburgh composite and 36 for Wallingford. One of the characteristics of lightweight rowing, of course, is they often do rate higher than open weight crews. They traditionally have shorter levers because they're not quite as tall, haven't quite got the power because they're weight restricted. These young ladies have an average weight, I think, is of 59 kilograms, and that's just over 9 stone in money that I understand. They are not big, strong girls. A lot of them these days are quite tall, but the fitness and the power that these slight people have is extraordinary. And you can see, you would not know these were lightweight athletes if I hadn't told you. That rowing is good, solid, powerful rowing. But in order to keep the boat moving at a decent speed, they have to rate slightly higher. And of course, Tom, we have another tight race.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like it's developing into a humdinger, which is rapidly becoming my favourite phrase of the weekend. But it is Maddie Arlett and Susanna Duncan who are leading this race. Of course, Susanna represented Great Britain at the 2015 Junior World Championships, and Maddie won a whole load of titles at the Bucks Regatta in lightweight pairs and lightweight doubles. So they're both established lightweight athletes, and I think that is showing here as they stretch out. And I think they're just looking to get their bows fully clear of the Wallingford crew, and I think they just have done that. They've established clear water coming down past the enclosures.
Well, I think we ought to make this race cliche rich, and they used to say mileage makes champions. And you can see these young ladies with international experience. They have done mile after mile after mile, and that polish that comes from all those hours and hours and hours sitting in the boat, rowing away, sculling away, having somebody iron out your little inconsistencies. It's almost probably as natural as combing their hair in the morning to sit in the boat and just tick-tock, tick-tock, and that beautiful rhythm they've got together, lovely rhythm. They'll just be breathing steadily at the same rate as they're paddling, and the boat will be what we call singing. There'll be 2 rows of bubbles going down behind the stern of the boat. And we got the other semi-final on the course.
Yeah, second semi-final. The elite lightweight double sculls, Vesta Rowing Club on the Berkshire Station, and another Wallingford Rowing Club crew on the Buckinghamshire Station. And on this occasion, it looks like Wallingford are in luck. I saw Vesta just out the corner of my eye on our monitor here. Had a bit of a mishap off the start. Their steering was a bit erratic, and I think that's cost them valuable time and valuable distance here, because Wallingford have established an impressive lead at this opening, in these opening exchanges. That's got to be 3 or 4 lengths already, Stan.
I was going to say, that Vesta double does not look at all comfortable and happy. That's the McGregor Ritchie sisters, Kirsty and Robin, from Vesta. Vesta, another club with a fine tradition of women's rowing, but there has to be... Well, they look to be sculling okay, but there is a big difference between these 2 doubles for very early on in the course.
Well, I suppose we have to ask what might have happened at the start and what could have caused this huge margin between the 2 crews, because Wallingford, I mean, they're already cruising.
Yeah, and that is decent sculling at the 34s from the McGregor Ritchie sisters from Vesta. Vesta, of course, one of the clubs down at Putney, been established not quite as long as London and Thames, but been in the game for a long, long time. Like London and Thames, founding clubs of Remenham Club, and Remenham Club very kindly let Henley Women's Regatta have their chairman's enclosure there. And if you want to become a friend of Henley Regatta, or you're a former winner and you want to join the Victrix Club, then go to the website and look at the details, and for a very modest sum of money, then you could be sitting next year in the chairman's enclosure at the finish of the regatta here. We have big screen transmission in the chairman's enclosure, and the Remenham Club, of course, noted for its hospitality and food and friendliness. Meantime, back to the race.
Yeah, it's impressive stuff here from the Wallingford crew. This is Mary Wilson and Gemma Hall, both of whom are established lightweight athletes, having won the lightweight quad at the British Senior Championships last October, so they've got loads of pedigree on board. Of course, this is for the elite lightweight double sculls, the Haslam Trophy for the Wentworth House, sponsored by Wentworth House Partnership. And of course, we thank all our sponsors throughout the weekend who have helped to put this regatta on. It really couldn't happen without you, so obviously the Wentworth House Partnership sponsoring this event, and I think Wallingford are just going to be cruising down towards the finish, and it's going to be a fantastic race to see these guys come up against the Exeter Edinburgh composite.
Yes, indeed, earlier. And you notice the slightly different technique here of these Wallingford, this Wallingford double. They have a far more lean back which we see sometimes from Cambridge University crews. Very long stroke, but they're just really paddling at 27. They're not at full pressure. They're just cruising along, doing sufficient to make sure that they're going to be in good shape for their final this afternoon. The finals this afternoon start at just about 2 o'clock, and they go through to just before 5 o'clock. And you can see every stroke of every race here on the streaming service at Henley Women's Regatta. And we move to the semi-finals of some sculling, Tom.
Yeah, race 316, the first semi-final of the senior lightweight single sculls, the Fiona Dennis Trophy. Fiona is buzzing around the regatta somewhere. She's an ever-present at pretty much every domestic regatta on the circuit, so fantastic to see a trophy named after her. And we've got Tideway Sculler School Davies on the Berkshire station, and Oxford Brookes Imogen Mackey on the Buckinghamshire station. And Imogen Mackey, I have to say, Stan, I know her progression quite well, and she's rode in the Brookes first day all year, and she is a phenomenal athlete. And I earmarked her as a potential favourite right from the off, so it'll be interesting to see if she can make good on that potential.
Well, Rachel has had some hard races this weekend, but she's just she's one of these scullers that settles into the groove and is just relentless. She just settled into the groove there already, and she's won her races by just plugging away, bang, 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 get in the groove, hold the groove, hold the groove, hold the groove, which is what a good sculler can do. She's at 37. She's got several gears. I've seen her this weekend at all rates, down to about 30. She'll change down to about 34s in a minute. It's great that scullers have several rhythms like that, but sometimes that means when the chips are down and they're up against somebody that's at least as good as them, then it makes them perhaps a little less flexible when it comes to racing. But we shall see. Certainly at the moment, Imogen Mackey's not having it all her own way. She has established, I think, an early lead. About a length, I think, as we come away minute and a half into the race.
Yeah, I think as she comes down towards that famous barrier marker, she'll be striving to break clear of Rachel Davies from Tideway Sculler School, but no luck just yet. I mean, she's got a pint of clear water, but nothing more than that.
That is 36s that she's continuing at, Imogen. I mean, that's extraordinary. 36 is a very high rate for a lightweight sculler.
I suppose the supposed lack of power that lightweight scullers are supposed to have, often it's not the case. They're just as powerful as heavyweight athletes, but they have to tick over at a higher rate to make up for that, that deficit in power. But Imogen Mackey demonstrating just what a good sculler she is on the Buckinghamshire station. She'll be trying to strengthen that lead and improve upon her good start in the opening exchanges. I think she'll continue to move away from Rachel Davies on the Berkshire station.
Rachel down at 32s. Imogen now at 34s. And so often when the athlete hits that wall at about 2 minutes and they have to change the way they're breathing because they're into oxygen debt, so often at that point in that what would be the second 500 in a 1,000-metre race. So often that's the point at which a crew breaks away from their opponent. But I'm not sure she's actually managed to break maybe a length and a half. Not sure it is a length and a half. She's at 34.
I mean, do you worry if Imogen Mackey is still ticking over at such a high rate? Do you think maybe she won't have any more gears to respond to a late charge from the scullers, the Tideway Scullers athlete?
Well, one might suppose so, but we both know how tough a school rowing and sculling is at Oxford Brookes. Oxford Brookes, who brought a new meaning to power rowing in men's rowing some years ago, and they've now translated that into their women's rowing squad. If you're from Oxford Brookes and your cruising rate is 34, you can be sure that if needed, there will be another gear in the tank. Ooh. But you can see, as has happened in the previous races she's had, Rachel Davies just relentless. It's solid, it's 32, it's very, very steady, but the boat speed is absolutely consistent. And this race, I think, is by no means over.
I have to say, watching those two crews come down past our little gantry here, it looked like Rachel Davies had the better boat speed, and you're right, it is just a relentless rhythm, and it is wearing her opponent down.
And although the other semi-final have started, it'd be good to stay with this race, which is clearly going to not over yet. Let's stick with this semi-final, the first semi-final of senior lightweight single sculls between Rachel Davies from the Tideway Scullers and Imogen Mackey from Oxford Brookes. Let's stick with this until the race has sorted itself. From that angle, it looks like Imogen's broken away again.
I think the angle might be deceptive.
But I think you're right. I think the angle is deceptive. Let's wait until the parallax comes out. Parallax does funny things to commentators, funny things to what appears to be happening in the race. Or has Rachel Davies just run out of steam a little bit? Maybe she has.
Well, maybe. I have to say, as they came past the enclosures, it looked like it was Imogen who was frantically looking over at her opponent. Looked like she maybe had run out of gas, but she's just strayed off the attentions, hasn't she, of Rachel Davies.
And it's still not over. I have. I was following a sculling race yesterday, and 5 strokes off the finish, one of the scullers who led all the way through was in the lead. I handed the race over to one of my colleagues, and in those last 5 strokes, the position was reversed.
Oh, shocking. Learn your lessons.
So in sculling, it ain't over until it's over.
Well, quite literally, as we see them come down into the final 250 metres, it doesn't look like Imogen Mackey's got too many gears left to go to. As they come down, is Rachel Davies going to sneak a win here in the semi-final of the senior lightweight single sculls? We're back, unfortunately, with the second semi-final of the senior lightweight single sculls. If you do want to see the result of that race, head to www.hwr.regattaresults.co.uk. But we're back with the second semi-final of the senior lightweight sculls, University of London on the Berkshire station and Greenbank Falmouth on the Buckinghamshire station.
So that's Susie Perry from the University of London and Sarah Lewis from Greenbank Falmouth. No prizes for guessing where Greenbank Falmouth are based. Lovely stretch of river, lovely part of the country, and Greenbank Falmouth have been producing particularly good scullers probably for 20 years now. They're not a long established club, but they started with some masters, what we now call masters scullers, but those gentlemen taught other people, and now they have a really good programme of sculling. Obviously, University of London, we've talked about those earlier on this morning. But Sarah Lewis from Greenbank Falmouth, now here racing against Susie Perry from University of London. We're at 3/4 distance. And who is going to win this one? It's still tight.
Yeah, I think we're just coming down towards the enclosures here, and it is a tight race, which we love to see here at Henley Women's Regatta. And I think it's just Susie Perry on the Berkshire station who has nudged her bows ahead. It is a real battle going on here on the course. Not a lot to choose between the two scullers, but I think if Susie can hold on to this, she'll be delighted and she'll progress through to the final. But she hasn't broken away from the Greenbank Falmouth sculler just yet. But she does look relaxed, doesn't she, Susie?
She's sculling at 32. Good, solid stuff. nicely engaging her sculls and then hanging on, almost hanging by her fingers and her toes, and then that power push from the legs translated through the back and shoulders opening as the three power groups of legs, back and arms come through. The shoulders pull through and open, and the sculls go through the water in a straight accelerated line. A nice vacuum opens up behind the sculls so that it's easy to do a clean extraction and then begin the preparation to do it all over again. We're sorry about the little flickerings on the screen. This technology is coming to you from what is normally a riverside meadow, and although the weather's lovely, somebody I suspect is bouncing up and down on one of our cables at the moment.
I think that might quite literally be what's happening. So maybe we'll head back to the start, see what's going on up there. And we've got our first semi-final of the elite lightweight single sculls. So a step up from the two races we've just seen in terms of classification. And on the Berkshire station, we've got Edinburgh University, Robin Hart Winks. And on the Buckinghamshire station, we've got a sculler from